Escobar was born on December 1, 1949, into a lower-middle-class family and grew up in Medellin, Colombia. As a young man, he was driven and ambitious, telling friends and family that he wanted to be the president of Colombia someday. He got his start as a street criminal. According to legend, Escobar would steal tombstones, sandblast the names off of them, and resell them to crooked Panamanians. Later, he moved up to stealing cars. It was in the 1970s that he found his path to wealth and power: drugs. He would buy coca paste in Bolivia and Peru, refine it, and transport it for sale in the United States. In 1975, a local Medellin drug lord named Fabio Restrepo was murdered, reportedly on the orders of Escobar himself. Stepping into the power vacuum, Escobar took over Restrepo's organization and expanded his operations. Before long, Escobar controlled all organized crime in Medellin and was responsible for as much as 80% of the cocaine transported into the United States. In 1982, he was elected to Colombia's Congress. With economic, criminal, and political power, Escobar's rise was complete. In 1976, Escobar married 15-year-old Maria Victoria Henao Vallejo, and they would later have 2 children, Juan Pablo and Manuela. Escobar was famous for his extramarital affairs and tended to prefer underage girls. One of his girlfriends, Virginia Vallejo, went on to become a famous Colombian television personality. In spite of his affairs, he remained married to Maria Victoria until his death. As the leader of the Medellin Cartel, Escobar quickly became legendary for his ruthlessness, and an increasing number of politicians, judges, and policemen publicly opposed him. Escobar had a way of dealing with his enemies. He called it plata o plomo. If a politician, judge, or policeman got in his way, he would almost always first attempt to bribe him or her. If that didn't work, he would order the person killed, occasionally including the victim's family in the hit. The exact number of men and women killed by Escobar is unknown, but it certainly goes well into the hundreds and possibly into the thousands. Social status did not matter to Escobar. If he wanted you out of the way, he'd get you out of the way. He ordered the assassination of presidential candidates and was even rumored to be behind the 1985 attack on the Supreme Court, carried out by the 19th of April insurrectionist movement, in which several Supreme Court justices were killed. On November 27, 1989, Escobar's cartel planted a bomb on Avianca Flight 203, killing 110 people. The target, a presidential candidate, was not actually on board. In addition to these high-profile assassinations, Escobar and his organization were responsible for the deaths of countless magistrates, journalists, policemen, and even criminals inside his own organization. By the mid-1980s, Escobar was one of the most powerful men in the world, and Forbes magazine listed him as the 7th richest. His empire included an army of soldiers and criminals, a private zoo, mansions and apartments all over Colombia, private airstrips and planes for drug transport, and personal wealth reported to be in the neighborhood of $24 billion. Escobar could order the murder of anyone, anywhere, anytime. He was a brilliant criminal, and he knew that he would be safer if the common people of Medellin loved him. Therefore, he spent millions on parks, schools, stadiums, churches, and even housing for the poorest of Medellin's inhabitants. His strategy worked. Escobar was beloved by the common people, who saw him as a local boy who had done well and was giving back to his community. In 1991, due to increasing pressure from the U.S., the Colombian government and Escobar's lawyers came up with an interesting arrangement. Escobar would turn himself in and serve a 5-year jail term. In return, he would build his own prison and would not be extradited to the United States or anywhere else. The prison, La Catedral, was an elegant fortress which featured a jacuzzi, a waterfall, a full bar, and a soccer field. In addition, Escobar had negotiated the right to select his own guards. He ran his empire from inside La Catedral, giving orders by telephone. There were no other prisoners in La Catedral. Today, La Catedral is in ruins, having been hacked to pieces by treasure hunters looking for hidden Escobar loot. On December 2, 1993, Colombian security forces, using U.S. technology, located Escobar hiding in a home in a middle-class section of Medellin. The search block moved in, triangulated his position, and attempted to bring him into custody. Escobar fought back, however, and there was a shootout. Escobar was eventually gunned down as he attempted to escape on the rooftop. Although he was also shot in the torso and leg, the fatal wound passed through his ear, leading many to believe that Escobar committed suicide. Others believe one of the Colombian policemen fired the bullet. With Escobar gone, the Medellin cartel quickly lost power to its rival, the Cali cartel, which remained dominant until the Colombian government shut it down in the mid-1990s. Escobar is still remembered by the poor of Medellin as a benefactor. He has been the subject of numerous books, movies, and television series, including Narcos and Escobar: Paradise Lost. Many people remain fascinated by the master criminal, who once ruled one of the largest drug empires in history.